rocks.
Well, come on in, my beautiful coffee beans. We got a lot to talk about and some updated information.
Coffee steaming, files on the table. We clocking early, hunt what's unstable. Bullhorn Betty on the curb, voice raised. Flip-flop queen with the homemade phrase. Notebook thick, got the screenshots flag. Names in red ink, every rumor, every tag. Late night live stream, screen glow on her face. Truth in her throat, got a lawman's pace. She don't blink when the threats roll through. Come see me, she says, if you think that's cute. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. Insane Asylum, that's our crew nickname. Laugh so loud while we track these names. Whiteboard wild with the webs we spin. Pen to pen, see the pattern sink in. Turbo shaking when the case goes cold. We stir it back up, won't do what we're told. Doorstep question, side eye stare. Where were you that night? We hanging right there. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we get that justice. This for the faces on the milk cart labels. This for the families praying at tables. This for the names that the news won't say. We say them out loud every single day. Every day. If you're running in the dark, better feel that fear. Betty got a bullhorn right in your ear. Coffee club crazy, but we think so clear. One small town, whole world gonna hear. Hey! Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. We hunt bad guys till the sun comes up. From the front porch steps to the courthouse rug. We fighting for the ones that they gave up. Bullhorn Betty in the coffee club. Sip that truth from a styrofoam cup. From the quiet streets to the madhouse buzz. We ain't letting go till we take vengeance.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, good morning. Good morning. Beautiful coffee beans, it's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well this beautiful Tuesday morning. I'm Bullhorn Betty. We're covering a couple cases. However, we got some updated information and a few other things. And circling back to some of the things that we talk about here every day, just in pastime, talking about the education and the well-being and how you do not need to be in college to know stuff, right? This day and age, ignorance is a choice, folks. It is a choice. You literally have anything that you need to learn, research in the palms of your hands. Every single person just about has a cell phone. Even if you don't have a cell phone, you can't afford a cell phone. In America, If you're on food stamps or some other stuff, you get a free phone from the government. So there's no excuse for people not having a cell phone or something at their fingertips. Libraries, everything. Anything you want to learn, you can learn. So we're not going to dive in, but we are going to take a pause for our sponsor of the Bullhorn Betty show, this morning, because we do have some updated information on a very, very sexy front.
Huh? Bullhorn Betty in the kitchen, listen. She be stopping with the recipes missing. Almost perfect, she can feel it in her soul. Look, wow, bam, here it is. Go to heaven when it hits your lips.
Woo! Look at that baby. That's sexy. Come on, guys. Tell me that's sexy. That's a sexy piece of... That's probably the sexiest breast you're going to see all morning. I'm just saying. Look at that. Ooh, it's getting hot up in here. Okay. Well, on the front. Did I not set it up? Well, son of a biscuit. The hell is wrong with you, Betty? Come on, get it together, lady. You don't get to pull, we don't know nothing all the time. Where is it? Is that it? There it is. Oh, there it is. We got our first batch, folks. And I did have to have to check it out and make sure it finally did. We calculated it wasn't too good gracious. I don't know what the hell I did with my salt. My prorate, my portions, because you got to convert. I don't know if you guys can see it. Maybe you can't. Hold on, let me get over here. I have to weigh everything now. You see this? This is a digital scale right here, right there, right? So we have my seasoning, and I do the cups like everybody else does, cup here, quarter cup here, pinch here, this, that, and the other, right? And so when you do bulk, you got to measure. Like you get a 5-pound bag. You can't use an entire 5-pound bag because if you put a 5-pound bag in it, it throws all your measurements off. So you have to do 4.8. Yes, 4.8 pounds of flour in order for me to get this recipe. So I always have just a little more flour left over. But it's the first batch is finally here. I tested it out yesterday. It was perfect. It tastes perfect to me. So now we're going to, and I'm doing blind responses. So when I do select the few people that are going to test out the first batch, when I do that, you guys are going to have cards to fill out. But no, I'm not going to know who has the cards. I'm going to have envelopes that have return addresses and send addresses to be me, the same. So you guys can be honest. And I'm not going to look at you sideways, okay? Because I want anonymity here. I want truthfulness. And sometimes I find truthfulness comes a lot easier with anonymity. So we're gonna keep you suckers, chicken lovers, I should say, instead of suckers, chicken lovers, anonymous. So that's kind of where we're gonna be. So I'm kind of excited for the first batch. See what we come back with. See if we need to make some modifications. We might, I might send it out and everybody's like, I'm not feeling it, Betty. I'm just not feeling it. And it's like, okay, we got to go back to the drawing board. So anyways, we're covering 2 cases right now, but we have another updated information to come out, and it's from Elon Musk. And I just thought, we talk so much here about never giving up on learning, always be willing to learn and stuff like that. So when I came across, or it wasn't really to Elon Musk, but I guess it really was. It's from Dustin, but it really is a testament to Elon and the way he thinks. And I do think that this is the truth. Many of us are sitting here and we're like, well, we don't have this degree to do, but you don't need degrees. You need the education, okay? You need the education. And at the end of the day, I think that the AI, I think the internet and everything has really checked the universities. I don't think the universities are as needed as they once were. And let me explain this. And you're probably thinking, no, Betty, I don't believe you. Let me listen. Let me read this. And once I read this to you guys, I think a lot of you might agree with this statement. So Elon Musk just put the entire university system on trial. Not the curriculum, not the professor, the premise. You don't need college. Musk says you don't need college to learn stuff. Everything is available basically for free. You can learn anything you want for free. For thousands of years, university won monopoly access, right? They held this one, excuse me, I read that wrong. For thousands of years, universities held one monopoly access. You paid the toll or you stayed ignorant. The internet erased that in a decade. Every lecture, every framework, every textbook, free from any screen on earth. Now, you got to remember, when the World Wide Web, it was on a computer. Now it's literally in the palms of your hands, folks. The 6-figure tuition is no longer buying knowledge. It's buying a signal. Musk. There is a value that colleges have, which is seeing whether somebody can work hard at something, including a bunch of annoying work assignments, and still do their homework assignments. That is the product, not intelligence, not creativity, not vision, compliance. You are paying $200,000 to prove you can tolerate bureaucracy on a schedule. Pretty powerful stuff, huh? Musk to the colleges. Colleges are basically for fun to prove you can do your chores, but they're not for learning. And I think many people have seen that especially over this last decade. The entire system is a sorting machine for corporate HR. It does not measure what you can build. It measures whether you can sit still, follow directions, and deliver on command. 4 years of obedience dressed as education. Musk, if you're trying to do something exceptional, you must have evidence of exceptional ability. I don't consider going to college evidence of exceptional ability. The system optimizes for average. It rewards the compliant. It certifies the patient. It quietly filters out everyone who refuses to wait for permission. The one who reshapes the modern world never finishes the task. Musk. Gates is a pretty smart guy. He dropped out. Jobs is a pretty smart guy. He dropped out. Larry Ellison, smart guy. He dropped out. And you know who else dropped out? Charlie Kirk, smart guy. $200 million operating a budget at 28 years old. That is huge. He built a $200 million a year, actually more than that. That's just his operating budget. In 10 years, an 18-year-old kid. He dropped out. They did not drop out because it was too hard. They dropped out because the speed limit was too low. The most dangerous thing a university does is convince the generational talent that finishing the syllabus is the achievement. It's not. It's the floor. It's the bottom. A degree is a receipt for compliance. The future has never belonged to the people who finish their homework. It belongs to the one who never needed the assignment. Wow. That gives you chills. I'm sorry, it gives you chills. At least it gives me chills. It gives me chills. Now we're going to move over just quietly over to this story here, which I know a lot of you guys have been very concerned with. It's kind of sci-fi, so to speak. I mean, we've got a bunch of scientists that were working on projects for our government related to terrestrial beings, UFOs, life on other planets. And now they're being plucked off this earth. And I'm pretty sure they're being murdered by our CIA. I truly believe that this is a United States operation that should not be being conducted on the United States. And I believe that the program stole billions or millions of dollars, I think billions of dollars, from the American people, and they're trying to hide that. That's what I'm hearing behind the scenes, but I have no proof of that. But I do believe that we have the 11th scientist. This is serious. When you had one or two, it was kind of a conspiracy theory, 4 or 5, you're still kind of trying to convince people that you're not crazy. 6, 7, now people are starting to come around. 8, 9, people are tuning in. 10, and now 11, people are like saying, okay, something's seriously wrong here. Who is killing our scientists and why? So that's kind of where we are. Let's listen and see if we have any new information on that front.
It has now gone to the new chapter. The U.S. House Oversight Committee will now investigate the mysterious deaths and disappearances of now 11 scientists. They'd all been working on high-level space or nuclear power research, and they have either died or mysteriously vanished since 2022, some with some strange similarities.
I've also believed, possibly that there is a foreign government operative working. And, this kind of sounds like really, like I said, crazy. I mean, these things that we're taught don't really happen, but we know they do. And it always made me wonder, after us going over to Venezuela and yoking up their president and going over there and putting our foot in Iran's butt, it just makes you wonder if this is not necessarily part of it, but, the opposite side of it, that's not affiliated or associated with anything that's going on. But, if we do it to other countries, is this the side that the other countries are doing to us? And maybe the reason why some of the scientists died versus missing is because they were given an opportunity. You're going to work for us and work on this project, or we're going to kill you. And they're honorable to the United States and say, absolutely not. You have to take me to death. Boom, you're gone. And the ones that are just missing might have said, I'm not going to lose my life. Okay, I'll comply. We don't know what the situation is. I definitely don't. But it's definitely something I think we all need to be taking notice of. We've got 11 scientists that were affiliated with some really top level security clearance stuff. And it makes you wonder, is this a hoax? I mean, are they dying because of a laundering scheme? Or are they dying because of the information that they hold? Am I listening to these rumors that are going around that are trying to say that this was all a scam? And, because that is like the red herring, that it really isn't the scam, that this really is something more, and they're just trying to reduce it. But I'm sorry, this smells like CIA all over it. This is not the feds for us. This is, if I really believe this is our government. I really do. I don't know why I have that gut feeling, but I don't believe this is any other government but the United States of America, and not just the United States of America, the CIA specifically.
Like leaving their homes without phones or wallets. Committee Chairman James Comer says a new coordinated effort is underway to find the answers.
This is something that could be very serious. We know there are many countries around the world that would love to have our knowledge and nuclear capabilities, and these are the...
See, that's what I'm saying. I know Comer, I get what he's trying to say, but, that's going to be the obvious thing. What if it's not? What if it's us? Why doesn't anybody ever look at our CIA and say our CIA is freaking creepy as shit? And we know that they've worked on our soil before, outside of their authority to do so criminally. So, I this is where I have problems with law enforcement that also break the law,
People that were at the forefront of it, and they're either dead or missing.
Law enforcement has not drawn a link between or among any of these cases. However, the mystery is still prompting some fresh questions, like this one from our own.
I'm so sick of the stupidity of these government officials. Oh, well, we need the proof to link it. Listen, these are 11 people. This is beyond you guys being able to cover this shit up. Something's going on here. Who is it? What is it? What are we doing? Is this our government, or is this somebody else's? It's one of the two. I do not believe it's anything else. It's one of the two. It's either our government or somebody else's.
Peter Ducey.
Do you think it's possible that some foreign spies could be scooping up our scientists to go build something?
That would be the most likely.
And I got to tell you, what did I say when we first heard the story? That was exactly what I said. If you go back to when I had this like little 2-minute spit, and I'm like, what if this is like Iran, coming over here and having their people picking up our scientists? And I still believe it's possible, but there's something in here that's making me feel like this is our government. I don't trust our government. I really don't. There's certain people in our government I trust, and you guys know who one of the main people I trust is. But everybody, I don't trust. I don't trust. I really don't. If it wasn't for, I just don't trust. I don't trust. I don't trust. I don't trust. So anyways, guys, as you guys see, we're getting on to the topic of conversation. Good morning, everybody. I'm Bullhorn Betty. We're talking about 2 major breaking cases, 2 missing women, one an 84-year-old grandmother ripped out of her bed by a masked gunman in the middle of the night from Tucson or the Catalina foothills, just on the outskirts of Tucson, Arizona. And then, of course, we have a mother that was missing out at sea. She was with her husband when they apparently got on choppy water or had choppy water. One of the waves ended up coming aboard, knocking her off of her little dinghy. It was whitewater rapid type of water flow, and she was just swept away from her husband so quickly and literally out to sea, and nobody has seen her since. So these are 2 major missing cases that are grabbing a lot of our attention. If you're not into one case, you're definitely into another. These cases defy logic. We can kind of see missing at sea, Lynette Hooker. Her case is really not that abnormal. Her case is very common in our world. This is a clear domestic violence case. This is clear that a husband lost his, even though we can't prove it with evidence just yet, I do believe the evidence would ultimately prove these elements of the Lynette Hooker case, and that's the husband had something to do with her disappearance. There's absolute foul play, and she is absolutely dead. And so we'll get to that as the ending of our segment of the show. But before we do, I'm going to go ahead and say good morning to all of you. Thank you for all being here. I do appreciate all of you, and we're just going to try to keep the the show going and keep the show on track. I know a lot of us are feeling a lot of pain. We've had a lot of stresses and a lot of stresses over the last few months, with the with the Harris family, with their son Cole, with, this new information. It's just been a really, really, really rough 2026 for a lot of us. So we're just going to keep positive. We're going to keep doing what we do. And what we do is bring attention to these cases. And we try to put bad guys behind bars with our advocacy for change. So we're going to continue our mission. And nothing should deter the mission of this channel. So that has always been the mission. It will continue to be the mission. And we're going to have a lot of pains along the way in completing that mission. And this is just the real life part of the work that we do. And it's painful. So Alicia, it's nice to see you. Melanie, good morning. Eeyore Blue, Tammy, good morning. I hope you're doing well. The Real Me Too, it's nice to see you. Gernetta, it's nice to see you. Good morning. I hope you're doing well. Tammy, good morning. Rue, it's nice to see you. DeBoss Bish, it's nice to see you. Good morning, Love Bug. I hope you are doing well. True Crime Junkie up in the house. Kentucky Girl, good morning. I hope you are doing well. Texas Woman, Mama, Honey Babe. Hello, Honey Babe. Who else do we have? Debbie, good morning from Canada. It's nice to see you. Let them 66 prayers, whoever need them. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Prayers for me for Thursday. Going for a root canal, then a second process. I hate teeth problem. I hate teeth problems. It is nice to see you, Jules. Gina, it's nice to see you. Dreaming of blue skies and sandy beaches. Good morning. Granado, it's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Beautiful YouTuber is up in the house. It's nice to see you. Riley Rue, good morning. Good morning. I hope you're doing well. Jamie, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Dan up in the house. Arizona Raven, good morning, guys. I hope you guys are doing well. Kyla, it's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Pink, it's nice. Food porn alert. That must have been I know, that's so good. It makes my mouth water every time. Yeah, that's pretty good, right? If my mouth is watering, then everybody else is watering because I get to eat it, right? But I got a big batch of it. I had to put the lid on it and stuff like that. I was not ready to bag it up yesterday, and I made it. My brain's foggy. I was just trying to keep myself busy yesterday, right? So I'm like, I didn't get the chance to do it Sunday because as soon as I got done mowing the yard, I came in and found out this horrible information. So it kind of put a plug in the day on Sunday. And so Saturday, and then of course yesterday, no, that's not right. What day is it? Today is Tuesday. Okay, that's right. Okay, so Sunday I mowed the yard. Sunday is when I found out. And so Sunday I didn't finish because that's right. The Sunday was supposed to be the day I did the batch. So I did the batch yesterday on Monday. And I realized after that I didn't have any Ziploc bags. So I have no way of packaging it up. So I've got to go get some Ziploc bags, and then I got to do the labels, the printing labels, so you guys know the printing instructions and all the stuff to do, So anyways, we'll get to all of that. Thank you. Danielle, it's nice to see you. Jamie, good morning. It's nice to see you. I hope you guys are all doing well. Stage 3 OC, cancer survivor, standing strong. I'm so happy to hear that, love. I hope you do better and feel better and a speedy recovery. God bless you. We're always here for you. A lot of people have struggled with cancer. You've got a huge support system here at the Bullhorn Betty channel. So please utilize it. Get connected with other people and start sharing your numbers and use each other for, support, for little small groups, and support each other, because everybody deals with an ailment. I know a lot of us have, many people came to this channel because of Sebastian Rogers. And, so we have a whole group of people that have autistic children. And it would be a great thought for you guys to get together and just have your guys a support system for one another. Utilize this channel the best you guys can. It's for you. It's always been for you guys. Veronica, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Did I say hi to you, Arizona Raven? I can't remember if I said hi to you specifically or not. If I didn't, good morning. I hope you're doing well. Melanie, I think I said hi to you. Who else do we have? I think I said hi to everybody so far that I'm reading. Lions for Life, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Welcome. I think, Giggle Glimmer. You can learn a lot. You can learn a lot for sure. Hold on, let me read what her comment is. You can learn a lot online for sure, but what he don't tell you is what he learned from his 7-year-old Bachelor of Science in Economics and Bachelors of Art and Physics. Don't believe the hype. Well, you got to remember he's about my age, so this was probably before the internet. A lot of us had no choice, but the internet was starting to develop in 1994. So anybody that, and it wasn't what it is today. So anybody that was, there, we used computers. It was just developing. I mean, we were just learning. We had just gotten America Online. America Online. Remember that? Oh, so, back in the day, we had no choice, just like he said. But today, 2026, you don't need that. There's, I've learned, I built a website. I built my husband's website, and I never went for graphic design or anything like that. I think I did pretty damn good. I designed his logo. I did the whole entire website. Does he still have it? I don't have it paid for it. I don't know why it would be still up, but I guess it might still be up. Yeah. Not the best thing in the whole world, but I mean, it's not the worst thing. Not the worst thing. I mean, I built that. I don't like how I did the top though, but that's okay. It is what it is. It's built, all right? It's built. There it is. There's this wasn't my first website either. I built my dad's website first. But this is the website. Apparently I couldn't get, it's because it's a single page. So I did all this, even the little push buttons. I designed the push buttons. I didn't steal those push buttons. Those were designed. Every one of these were designed. This is my second website I've ever built. I bet I could do a lot better now. I built this, I think, in 2011. It's been 15 years? Oh my God. Oh my God. It's 15 years ago. I built this 15 years ago. I cannot believe I'm old enough to say that. I built this 50. Look at that. Look at that. The proof is in the pudding right there. Right there. Right? Oh, holy smokes. This business is no longer alive, so you guys can come and do whatever you need. It's no longer alive. I'm surprised it's still open. I haven't paid for this. On, at all. Schedule yourself a free estimate. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. We were pro everything. Home Advisor, Thumbtack Pro, Top Pro for 2017, 2018. We were awesome, baby. And you got this little card thing. I built this in. I typed all this out and made sure that everybody. So, I mean, it's just, it is. It is what it is, I guess. But I forgot about that. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. Holy smokes. I don't know why we went there, but holy smokes. Okay. Melody says, happy Tuesday, Betty, Delilah, mods, and chat. Much love to BHB and everyone. Prayers to whoever needs them. Don't forget to hit the like button for your Betty BHB. Hit that like button. If you guys made it this far so far, please don't forget to hit the like button. And if you're on the replay crew and you have the option, hype this live. Do your girl a favor. Do your girl a favor. I'll take pity hypes. No, I'm just joking. I'll take pity hypes. I'll take them. It's nice to see you guys. We're still in, Donna Joe, it's nice to see you. Jamie, good morning. Did I miss everybody? Nana Rocks, it's nice to see. Oh, look at that. Because I'm a love machine. Melanie gifted a Bullhorn Betty membership. Jamie, you got the membership. Welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the insane love. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room and welcome aboard. Thank you. I'm feeling the love. Donna Joe, welcome to this crazy family we call the Coffee Club, i.e. the insane love. Grab your straitjacket in your padded room. Welcome. And True Crime Junkie reminding everybody, welcome to our new family members. It is nice to see you. Join the fam that makes a difference. Zach Jackson, it's nice to see you. Good morning. I hope you're doing well. Who else do we have? It looks like you might have a channel, so let's go ahead and put you up there, plug you a little bit. It's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. I hope the divine beings brought you to, because I am. I got a good, I was told I have a good aura. Now, I don't know if that's true. I might be tooting my own horn, but I heard I have a good aura, whatever that means. Dees, it's nice to see you. I hope you're doing well. Lady JJ for life, it's nice to see you. Something in the milk not clean. Scientists watching on TV. This is an insane. I never thought the day that we would see something like this. And how did they identify them? That's the question. That's what makes me feel like this is governmental. Our government. Phil, it's nice to see you from across the pond. Good morning. Momo up in the house. Heather, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Deb. Kata, it's nice to see you. Rena, I'm down at the bottom. Reyes, it's nice to see you. Our beautiful Sonia up in the house. If I missed you guys, I am super sorry. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anybody real quick. We got Melanie, Donna Joe. I think we got everybody. Awesome. Thank you guys for all the love and support, by the way. We appreciate you. All right, let's go ahead and dive on in. So now we have this whole updated Sheriff Speaks Out amid report of bombshell developments. Now, you guys know, we know the bombshell developments is that somebody else was detained. Do we know? And I believe that they're using, Amanda, it's nice to see you. Paula, good morning. Did I miss a few people I didn't say good morning to? Humphrey, good morning. Who else did I miss? Did I miss somebody? I said Heather, Zach, I got you. I think I got everybody. I think there's a few people came in. At the end here. Good morning, guys. Julie, good morning. I hope you're doing well. So anyways, we heard bombshell that somebody was detained, and then, he's like, nope, nobody was detained, right? Like, nobody was detained. We're not doing this. And so we realized that somebody had said, hey, Sandy, it's nice to see you. We heard that somebody had said, open my eyes, it's nice to see you as well. We heard somebody had said that somebody was asked to come in for questioning, not that they were detained. So although somebody was there about the Nancy Guthrie case and they were asked to come in, they apparently weren't detained. That means that they are forced. They have no choice. Donnie, it's nice to see you. Pink, good morning. Sierra, it's nice to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Played at the beginning, all on screen. What? Let me go up here. What did Tammy want? What'd you need, Tammy? Who would have the list of scientists? Oh, there. Yeah, I did have that up. Do I still have that? Hold on. I think I already got out of there. I already exited out of that, so I don't have that, love. I'm sorry. I wish I did, but I don't. All right, let's go ahead and get in here. So according to what we're hearing, the sheriff did speak out amid reports of this bombshell development. Reports of a bombshell in the Nancy Guthrie case seems greatly exaggerated. According to new reports, Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos has denied that another person of interest had been detained in the disappearance of Savannah Guthrie's mother. Fox News digital investigative reporter Mike Ruiz shared on X Friday that Nanos had replied to the word related to the chatter as nope. 4 letters. That's it. That's all he provided. He didn't provide anything else. News Nation contributor Jennifer Coffindaffer corroborated Ruiz's report on Friday. According to Sheriff Nanos, nobody was detained last night in Nancy case, despite some people on social media reporting this, Coffindaffer wrote on X on Friday. Those X posts came as Nancy Grace reported on her Crime Stories post that there had been bombshell in the case, citing an unspecified report that a man south of Tucson, Arizona had been detained for questioning. Details in the podcast episode were scarce, especially as Grace didn't name the source of the speculation. Dave Mack is the one that found that because we went over it several times. Crime Stories investigator reporter Dave Mack pointed out Hoda Kotb, I think that's how you pronounce her name, taking over Anne Hathaway's interview that Savannah seemed poised to conduct on today as evidence that Savannah was pulled away to receive new information, which we believe. We even heard reports that on air or behind scenes, where is it? It's on my yellow pad. Where's my yellow pad? Here it is. That the words needed offset were used, and that we're learning is the code word, that there's been some developments in Nancy Guthrie or Savannah's mom's case. So Nancy, 84, was reported missing from her Tucson area home February 1st, and doorbell camera footage shows a masked gunman at the front of the property. On Thursday, several reports, including one from ABC, revealed that FBI was analyzing DNA recovered from the house with advanced technology in an effort to find Nancy's kidnapper. Meanwhile, an FBI official confirmed to ABC News that the Bureau had recently received the hair sample collected in February. So now we know the hair sample was, in fact, collected in February. Also on X, users slammed Pima County Sheriff's Department for sharing an update on Nancy has been located. Apparently, there was another Nancy out in the area that, I see what the problem is here. Hold on, let me get this. Once I get done with this publication, we won't have lip syncing issues. But Nancy, the other Nancy was missing at the time and was found. So I guess that the other Nancy had been missing for, I think, a couple hours before she was found. And Chris said Nancy had been found. Well, everybody's worried about Nancy Guthrie. You know, nobody really even knew that this other Nancy had disappeared, at least from everything I definitely didn't know. To be honest with you, I must have been asleep at the wheel because I didn't see any of this stuff going on. Okay, I didn't see that the other Nancy disappeared from her home. I didn't see that Chris Nanos posted this Nancy has been found post. I didn't see any of that. You know how I found out about it? I was reading, and all of a sudden I'm like, did that happen? How did I not hear that? And I don't know why I didn't hear that. And it seems like everybody heard that online. But Betty, I don't know how I missed all that. But apparently he made a post about Nancy has been found. And everybody's freaking out. Oh my gosh, finally, Nancy Guthrie has been found for a split second. Right? Not like going on. I've gone off. Lisa B. always, she reached out to me and said she wasn't happy, but it was about her comment saying that nobody's really paying attention to Sebastian Rogers' case. And I understand how upsetting that is to hear, but in all fairness, in part, it is true, and even so, sometimes true statements hurt our feelings. And, but it is true. I feel like, law enforcement wanted Sebastian Rogers' case to go away. They wanted it to go. They screwed that whole entire case up forensically. They screwed that whole entire case. They don't know what the hell they're doing. And that's the reality of it. And we're going to be dealing with this where, once again, another Texas or Tennessee community, they just have to get along, and they don't really care. They only care if it's their kid. So we got to wait until it's somebody else's kid, right? We got to wait until it's somebody else's kid and more powerful before we get any action done in this community for any missing child. That's what it's going to take. It's going to take somebody with power, missing child, before they realize how shitty their sheriff's department is and start making changes to it. They need to get rid of Sheriff Snuggle Struggles. And I almost guarantee that these assholes, and I'm sorry, you guys are going to say, but the majority of these people, you guys got good people out there in Sumner County, but there's a bunch of assholes out there. And I'm talking to all the assholes out there, not the good-hearted people. Okay? Pull your head out of your ass and vote. Vote right. Because a child is missing from your community. And I know you don't care about that child, but somebody does. We all definitely do. And I definitely need people to start firing animals that wear badges, okay? When you have an officer that with sexual assault being so widespread, do you know about 1 in every 4 to 5 women are sexually assaulted in America? And you, as a sheriff or a sheriff-elect, have posts like, I think rape is too strong of a word. I like snuggle struggle. What the flip is wrong with you? And then these people are like, oh, it's just a joke. We want to vote for that guy. And then they wonder why nothing ever gets done and their money's being spent. Oh, they can go after all these people that like to watch things on film, don't actually do anything, just watch the stuff on camera while it's disgusting. And I agree with it. And I agree that there are many victims to produce those images and stuff like that. It's still something that they are just looking at. Okay? Katie Proudfoot was with her son. If her son is dead, Katie Proudfoot killed him. And if Katie Proudfoot killed her son, that's a physical action, not just watching. Okay? And she's still out living her life, and they're wanting to go get the easy criminals, the ones that they can just throw away. They want to get the easy crimes done. All the tough stuff, they don't want to look at. They just want to put it in a file and act like, oh, don't worry, that doesn't count. That doesn't count. This one doesn't matter. He's autistic. He's just a boy. He's, his parents don't really care for him. His father does, but he's not a taxpayer here for Sumner County, so we don't have to pay attention to him. And the ones that are here, well, their family gives us millions of dollars to turn the other cheek, Y'all need to fire Eric Craddock. So this is the kind of crap you get when you have people like Eric Craddock, or in this case, Chris Nanos, involved. On Thursday, reports revealed, including one from NBC, revealing that the DNA was recovered from the house. We know that the hair sample was collected in February, but again, just learning now that it's to the FBI, where it probably should have been the entire time. Also on Thursday, again, users slammed Pima County Sheriff's Department for sharing that about Nancy and stuff like that. So let me put this up. Okay, you guys can see that. So this is for our next example. We have this lively conversation with Brian Enton. And he's talking to a profiler. I can't remember this guy's name. I'll think of this guy's name. Did they put his name up here? I don't think they put his name up here. They didn't put his name up here, but hey, I can't remember his name. Did he put it in the... I've seen him several times. You guys know who this guy is? Episode... and he's not putting his name into the description either, and he's not in the title. So anyways, I'm sure we'll figure it out as this goes on. It's probably already in my notes, but anyways, this is a transcript from Brian Enton. This is from day 79 of the disappearance of Nancy Guthrie investigation, focusing on the ransom note update, Bitcoin activity, and expert input from retired, Steve Moore. He's a retired, I knew it was something. There he is, right there. FBI agent Steve Moore. It covers profile theories on the suspect and investigative strategies without structured bullet points in the file. So the case overview, just to give you a case overview, this is as we know it from AI. Nancy Guthrie, an 84-year-old woman, vanishes from her Tucson, Arizona home nearly 80 days prior to this discussion. 2 early ransom notes sent to Arizona TV stations, believed legitimate by her daughter. Okay, we need to make sure that we clarify that. Law enforcement, it has never told us these were legitimate. Only her daughter, Savannah Guthrie, including a Bitcoin wallet with activity on February 10th, a small deposit with a note saying we're ready to talk. Contact us with a link, likely from the family or friend, FBI or family. No further visible response occurred, leading Moore to view it as a negotiation position rather than desperation. I don't think they ever believed that this were because why would you dick around with only giving a small amount of money for your mother if they're asking for $4 or $6 million? Excuse me, guys. I have allergies. Moore interprets the Bitcoin note as the FBI signals a two-way negotiation, avoiding precedent of future crimes by not appearing desperate. The kidnappers negotiated in bad faith by lacking proof of life, ignoring scene evidence of Nancy's vulnerability, and publicizing demands via TMZ, which sabotaged typical ransom efforts. See? Publicizing demands via TMZ, which sabotages typical ransom efforts. So the way that they did this, and I just want to remind everybody, when they went into this house for Nancy Guthrie, she was excuse me, let me back up. They worked so hard. They researched the hell out of getting into the home. They wanted inside the home. They wanted to find Nancy Guthrie. They wanted to extract her out for this ransom, allegedly, right? Allegedly. This is what they're trying to say that they want to do, allegedly, this ransom. Well, the problem with this is that everything they did from that point, they did a stellar job of getting into this house. They did a stellar job of keeping us knowledgeable about who they are or why they're there. They did a stellar job about, doing their research on getting in this house and getting her out. But you're telling me that these people that researched so well on how to do all of this didn't do this part, the money part, how they're going to get their money well? They got her out of the house, but then now what? I just don't believe that. These people seem like they seem like dumbasses, first and foremost. So if you have dumbasses being this clever, that means they took time and put pen to paper. Sorry, my nose is bothering me. They put pen to paper and logically thought out exactly how to do this. And if they logically thought out exactly how to get into this house and extract her out for this ransom, you cannot tell me they didn't go a step further to make sure their I's were dotted and their T's were crossed for the actual payment. What's the purpose of doing all this if you're not going to have the reward, unless the reward has never been about the money? It's being very, very difficult. So let me get this over here, and I'll read this over here. We're going to be watching some of this stuff here in just a second when I get to that. All right, so let's go ahead and go over some of the case review here for all of you guys. Why is this thing not shrinking? Jeez Louise, this is irritating the piss out of me. Okay. So Nancy Guthrie is obviously 84-year-old, vanished from Tucson area nearly 80 days prior to this discussion. We're talking about the 2 ransom notes. They did receive a small deposit with the note saying, "We're ready to talk, contact us," with a link likely from the FBI or family. And then that was it. Moore, which is this guy over here that Brian Enton is talking to, interprets the Bitcoin note as the FBI signals a two-way negotiator. And he's trying to say that they don't want to look desperate. And that the way that they did the ransom letter actually sabotages the ransom efforts. We've never heard an FBI agent saying the way that they're doing it is sabotaging their efforts, but we're hearing it here. He advises against further family-driven outreach, prioritizing capture over recovery, giving low odds. Profile, and this is something that we heard from profiles like Gary Brucato, cited statistics. 92% of murdered women knew their killer. 92%. Okay? It took us a while to get to this point where we believe that this person has nothing to do with Savannah Guthrie, and it doesn't have anything to do with money, at least from where I'm sitting. I think that what we initially thought at the beginning of this case doesn't hold water today. I think there's something more here. And, when we look at our staple cases, when we look at Nancy Woodrum's and Marcia Norman's case, they were murdered. When they found the victims, both of them were murdered by their assailant. And both of them were SA'd by their assailant. It seemed like the motivation was actually the SA, not the robbery, not the kidnapping, not the homicide. All the other things were a side effect of the SA. And I brought that up very early on in this case about SA, that I thought that if this perpetrator worked alone, it was an SA scenario. If he worked in conjunction with other folk, then in my opinion, it was a hit. I do not believe Nancy Guthrie left that house in good shape. I believe she was dying or dead when she was removed from her home. That's my opinion. We've been hearing the experts talking about how these spots and that spot look like it came from her mouth and that it looks like she sneezed there. Well, you know what? I've been watching a lot of videos. I watch a lot of Joe Kenda. I watch a lot of Forensic Files, and I'm still not determined that is medium velocity spatter out there. I'm not determined or willing to give that up. That could be, I've looked at some of the spatter that we've seen, and it does look like it could potentially be some higher velocity spatter out there. And that's a little concerning. You're not getting that from a sneeze or a cough. So I'm not willing to take that from people that are experts looking at a photo. We all know that forensic photos are not ones taken the way that Brian and his team took them. They're not directly over them. They're at an angle, so you really can't get the true respect of what they are straight up and down. There's forensic when you take forensic photography, there's certain ways you have to take that forensic photography. And the people that take that photography are trained in taking the proper photography of that. We didn't see that. Brian Enton did the best he could with a camera, and thank God for him. And we're very appreciative of that, but they're not forensic photos. And those forensic photos give us a little more detail. It's taken from a straight up and down photo, so you see it, because the way we're looking at it, we're looking at it kind of at an angle, right? Even when they walk up, they don't have their camera sitting straight up and down like this walking down. The cameraman's probably pointing it down and doing this number, right? And so you have an angle. You can't, those can manipulate your view of what is really there because of the angle of the camera. We talk about lighting and camera angles all the time here on this show because when I'm out in the field, I'm always taking footage. I prepare you guys sometimes pretty cool videos. I do produce, mini docs. It takes me time. I don't like doing them if I can help it, but I know how to do them, and I do them very, very nicely too. Not as nice as Olivia, but pretty, I can handle my own out here, right? It's very important. So we didn't get to see that. So Gary Brucato, Dr. Gary Brucato, statistics, 92% of women knew their killer. Okay, you got to remember, we learned from experts that if you're in a high activity, like the victimology, where you have low risk and high risk, if it was high risk, then it could be more of an unknown person. But when you're in a low risk, it's more of a person known. So we're getting away from this third party unknown perpetrator to, statistics are really leaning that Miss Nancy Guthrie knew that person. We don't know who it is, but she knew who it was, and probably the reason why she was removed from that home. So 92 know their killers. Most abductions, about 350 yearly, are often children, involve known abductors, suggesting Nancy's suspect is someone she contacted, possibly a contractor. Dr. Ann Burgess emphasizes motive of who benefits. Everybody's looking for who benefits. Like, they're still on financial motivation. Who benefits? Well, if a person's there for SA, that person benefits. Okay? Now, who's that person? If they're there because of a contract, there's nothing benefit from revenge. There's no benefit from revenge. So, you have to ask who benefits in that aspect. You want to find out who would benefit from this. Would it be considered, vindication? Like, I got her, or something like, maybe. But you got who benefits: revenge, retaliation, a grudge holder, somebody, an obsessed fan with Savannah. I think if there was a obsessed fan with Savannah, they would have already located that person, got their DNA, and got their stuff. Multiple perpetrators with a boss. Is this multiple people and somebody sent them there? Suspects describes as unafraid, overconfident from the surveillance. That's accurate. We've talked about how nonchalant the person is. They're about to break into a house that they've never known, and they're just lackadaisy, la-di-da. Let me just see what's over here. Can I use this? Okay, this looks like it might work. Yeah, let's try this. No, that didn't work. Let's see. Let's look around and see if we can find something else. Very, very unafraid. I think that's a great. I say nonchalant, but I think unafraid is a great statement, because you're about to break in a house that you don't know, that doesn't belong to you, and you're unafraid. I think that people would be a nervous wreck. Moore recommended reviewing 10 plus years of Nancy's records and financials, checks paid, social media, construction. 2 locals still in Tucson. I think everybody's kind of feeling like this is local, and we kind of felt like that, like it may be out of the area, like the person may not live right in the Catalina foothills, but might live in Pima County. That makes sense. FBI likely cleared inner circle family and friends. Profile refined via iterative questions on age, location, and specifics. A hair from the scene sent to from Florida lab to the FBI in Quantico for advanced DNA testing. Imagine that. Offers promise from it, leaning. Maybe they're saying possibly leaning over the bed. It sounds like it might have been found in the bed. That would be interesting. And here's some key profile theories summarized. Dr. Brucato says stats-driven known acquaintance, likely unafraid suspect, check contractors. Agrees on acquaintance stats for kidnapping, investigate back to Savannah's fame. So one's saying fame, one's saying contractor. I like Gary Brucato. I like Steve Moore too. I've seen him several times. And then you got Dr. Amy Burgess, who benefits, revenge, grudge, acted off script, strong, for Steve, strong on revenge, stalker type. Ask why for actionable leads, possible, but he hired better help. So maybe a hired hand to do this for him, with him, possibly. I don't know. Let's see what else we have here. I'm not going to play that. We have all the information from the FBI related to Nancy, and I think that that's pretty much it. You know, the search for Nancy Guthrie still continues to this day. We're still trying to find out where Nancy is. Nothing has come out. I would like to see more profile information come out directly from the FBI. I think this will help aid in finding and locating the suspect. We have an entire true crime genre out here that is from all over this country that is willing and able to work. And why law enforcement is not leaning on them to try to locate this animal is beyond me. But it seems like this day and age, our law enforcement just loves seeing people be able to sleep in their own beds at night after committing, terrible atrocities. I mean, I don't know what else I can say about that. I try to be kind and courteous to law enforcement, but at times I totally disagree with their approach. And they're going to be like, oh, you're not a professional. Well, you guys surely aren't acting professional at all because you're refusing to utilize and tap into all your resources. And the public, by far, is your best resource. I can tell you right now, 99.9% of all cases solved in the United States of America was not solved by law enforcement. It was solved by the public. Okay? So when you X the public out, guess what? You're taking the long way around. You're taking the long way around, right? Because you don't need to let the public not help. You don't need to do that. We're here to help. You have your resources. You have the ability to help. So why aren't you helping? So anyways, we're done with the Nancy Guthrie case. Nancy Guthrie, 84-year-old grandmother, ripped out of the bed in the middle of the night, has not been seen or heard from since. And now we're going to be going over to Lynette Hooker. Let me just take a few moments and go through the chat. I have not been watching the chat very much. Let me just see if you guys have anything. Why no nuts still in office? It's because they haven't been able to get it. Bad part about it is when you vote horrible people in, if your community has recalls, which my community does not. My community does not, but Arizona does. So they're very lucky that they can recall. They can at least recall their sheriff or attempt to recall their sheriff. We are stuck with our mistakes for 4 years. They can literally wreak havoc on our community, which George Cruz has. I can't wait until that guy is sent out to the pasture. He does not need to ever hold an office in this country again. If you guys know who George Cruz is, look him up for Manatee County. No matter where he goes in this country, we do not want him behind the helm of anything. He is a freaking drunk. He's a piece of shit. And all he cares about is his rich friends. He's spending $130 million of our tax money on stupid trails around this county that nobody but these rich assholes will use. I'm sick of it. The haves and the have-nots in our community. So $130 million. What an asshole. But anyways, getting back to this, Chris Nanos, at the end of the day, he has to be recalled. We're stuck with our problems, right? I'm stuck with George Cruz. Otherwise, I'd be hitting the freaking pavement. I'd be getting groups. I would be going out there getting signatures. I don't care if it took me 6 blessed months to get all the signatures I need. I will hit every single house in this community if I had to, just to get them out. That's how tenacious I am for this animal that I've got. And they're going around trying to get Chris Nanos out of office. So I'm glad they're stepping up. I mean, look at all the cases we've come across where we see corruption and people just sit on their hands. Look at Tennessee. Look at Hawkins County, Tennessee. Look at Sumner County, Tennessee. Everybody there just sits on their hands. They know they got terrible, but they're just like, oh, but we like them. We don't want to rock the boat. We love being taxed out the wazoo. We love feeling like we're safe, like Pima County, but not actually being safe, right? We love feeling like we're spending a lot of money taking care of. So it makes us feel good to spend a whole bunch of money on our law enforcement officers for them to be going out and arresting a whole bunch of sober drivers. That's pretty freaking embarrassing if you ask me. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a dumbass with a microphone, right? Ashley, these theories you are talking about have come to the surface early and been dismissed by expert. Why do they seem to validate them now? Similar evidence. You know, that's a great question, Ashley. I don't know. There's a lot of stuff that we hear and they weren't. And in all fairness, let's break this down. These theories you're talking about surfaced earlier and have been dismissed by experts. First of all, the experts that have dismissed them are not involved in the case, and so they have just as much information as we do, and when we have limited information, they have limited information, so they're utilizing their expert advice on half the story. And so those things, just like us, when we talk about it, that's why it's so important for me to tell you guys that these are my theories, because the theories change, and it changes based on information. So earlier on in the case, we didn't have a lot of information, and so maybe the experts dismissed it because there was nothing that held water. For us here, for example, we'll use Luke Daly as a prime example. Luke Daly, for me, wasn't really talking about it. He was, detained, questioned. It looked like a search warrant was executed on his vehicle and his home. And, outside of me just saying, this guy didn't even have his name at the beginning, had his home raided and, this, that, and the other. And then we put him up on the shelf because, we saw Chris Nanos with Carlos, then we saw Chris Nanos with him. They were both released. We're like, what's this a-hole doing? What's this sheriff doing? Does he know what the hell he's doing? Yada, 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 yada. So I put them both up, Carlos, Luke, up on the shelf. And we had some phone calls in, and after the February 10th, where the assailant was now known to us, we got to see the assailant on the camera moving about in front of Nancy's home. Well, one of my callers said it looks like, wrong hand. It looks like his right hand is injured. It looks like there's some right side injuries to this person. But noticeably the hand, somebody called in specifically about the right hand. And so when he gave an interview, this was like a month later or something. Now, mind you, I haven't talked about Luke Daly, didn't think about Luke Daly. I dismissed Luke Daly as Luke Daly being innocent, and, Chris Nanos not really having anything to do with him. And then comes the interview with him and his mother. Okay. And that kind of changed things for me because, one, I felt like his mother was caught lying a couple times. And I'm thinking, why would a mom lie? And then one of my audience members point out the very obvious right hand injury. And so I'm like, what? We got a right hand injury? Well, somebody called into my show and believes that the assailant has a right hand injury. And so now we're seeing a right hand injury on the camera, a right hand injury on this guy. Now he's coming up off the shelf. This person I didn't think about, now he's coming up off the shelf and he's coming back down here. And now we're going to be diving into him and we're going to start talking about him, even though we previously dismissed him. Now, does it mean that he's ultimately guilty or had anything to do with this? No, it does not. But it definitely causes us a little room for concern, and it gives us the ability to now scrutinize. I don't think that in a case like this, scrutiny really is a bad thing. I think everything needs to be scrutinized. Every person needs to be scrutinized. Every detail of this woman's life needs to be scrutinized. Who was she with? Who was she hanging out with? Who came to her house? Who took care of her? Who took care of her home? Who maintained the home? Who kept this home in this stellar, pristine condition? How many people? Who were they all? What businesses were their names? Did they have any recent employees? Did they have any recent people that quit their jobs shortly after this lady disappeared? Those are the types of questions and things that I would like to say. I have no problem in these whodunit cases for theories to change, because they're going to change. These experts that you're talking about are not involved in these cases. If they were involved in these cases, they would not be able to talk to us or talk to media, because they are involved in this case. And one of the things is that they could be thrown off a case if they're talking to media. If they're leaking information, they could be fired from their job. And that's why some people are willing to speak under anonymity to media, because they don't want to lose their job, but they do have some information. And that's where we can start getting really convoluted, where you have one media person not being as integrity, and morally inclined as another, and may use these anonymous sources as a way to advance their narrative, not necessarily that they really have an inside source. So that hopefully I explained your question and explained it well to you. At least that's the way I look at it, Ashley. I don't know, that's just how I kind of look at it, because we've done the same thing. We've dismissed something, and then it's like, we need to bring this back down. Obviously this was premature. I believe there were some premature assessments in the Nancy Guthrie case, but just because they're premature doesn't mean that they're not accurate. I'm still, I think that they were accurate on the family. I don't think the family, even though we bounce around and we do have talking points in the grand scheme of things, you guys know, I don't believe the family's involved. I mean, you guys know that. I mean, we can talk about Cameron, we can talk about Tommaso, we can talk about Annie, and I'll talk about them, and I'll bring up all the, the points that my audience hears or whatever is out there. Hey, Patricia, it's nice to see you. Love it. I hope you're doing well. Cat Lady, it's nice to see you. But, at the end of the day, you guys know I don't believe it. I tell you guys that. I don't believe that these are the theories, and I'm entitled to I let you guys have your opinions unless you're awesome. If you're awesome, then I just club you over your head for your opinions. That's all. That's all. I don't know why. Me and Awesome have a newfound friendship for agreeing to disagree. I'm just saying. But I try to incorporate as many things as I can into this. So we have we at least talk about all of your different opinions. But at the end of the day, I think we're more in line with the contract. And I told you guys that from the beginning, that I feel like this is it's close, but not that close, right? I didn't feel, Betty, sending you healing. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. I'll accept all the healing energy as we can possibly muster, because I got to tell you, even this morning, just getting up, it's sad, it's kind of funny. You don't know how important somebody really is to you until they're gone, until you don't get to pick up the phone and call them and, shoot the shit with them, or, it sucks. It just sucks. So, thank you. So now let's get on to the next case. Thank you guys for letting me bend your ear about Nancy Guthrie. I hope if you guys have any questions, or if you guys want any type of specific research, if there's an angle of this, because everybody's been listening to this case and they might be like, well, we didn't ask this question, or we didn't do this, or we didn't check this, or we didn't, whatever. And it's like, okay, well, what are those? Do you guys have an idea? Like, what questions do you guys have that you think we should research? Put it down in either the comments section. You can put it in the live view, but I'd prefer it being in the regular comments, or emailing to me at bullhornbetty@gmail.com. Just easier for me to respond and see. I think that's fair. It's interesting. I would also be interested in hearing the statistics regarding family involvement. I understand it's very tough. Sure. So we did look at it for elderly people, and them being murdered, because I'm looking at this as a homicide, Ashley. I'm looking at this case as a homicide, and I'm not really looking at this case as a kidnapping or disappearance at this point. I'm looking at it as a no-body homicide. And statistically, when we're dealing with homicide victims and stuff like that, of elderly women, we did do the statistics on this. And I could be wrong with this one. It was either 23% or 28%. Maybe my audience might remember it. But it was like 28% or 29%, somewhere in the 20s, the high 20s. Oh, 23. What was it? What was the statistics? Hold on, let me look. I'm pretty sure I've got them pulled up here. Hold on, let me look at the statistics. Question is, which account did I do the statistics in? Here it is. That's about 2 hours ago. No, that's not. Okay, I think this is it. Here it is. Okay. This is what it says. There is no reliable relayed probability. Okay, the inside job. Okay, here it is. What the available statistics do show is that when a violent crime victim is an adult, the offender is more often known to the victim than a stranger. For adults murdered, so adult murdered victims, 23% were family. 59, a whopping 59% were acquaintances. So this is a good, strong statistic. So the lower statistic is family, the higher statistic is acquaintance. And only 17%, the lowest, so you got the lowest, which is stranger danger, only 17% were strangers. So 17% family, 23% acquaintances or people known to the victim, 59, almost 60%. So the statistics are very, very alarming when it comes to adults, older people. But it shows, statistically, it shows that they're more likely to be killed by an acquaintance. And when we look at the, like I said, the two main cases that I think resemble this case the most, which is Nancy Woodrum. And we learned of Nancy Woodrum because of Ashley Banfield. She located that case. It also was pulled up on a report that I did related to the Nancy Guthrie case. Nancy Woodrum as being one of the top cases that resemble Miss Guthrie's case. And the other case that resembled hers the most was Marcia Norman. Marcia Norman was a 2025 case that we did cover on this show, and we actually had her niece as an audience member. Her Marcia Norman's niece was here giving us information about the assailant and the information about her aunt. So it was very interesting. While we didn't cover Nancy Woodrum's case, we did cover Marcia Norman's case, so we are very fluent with that case and the details of that case. And that is a little scary because we know that she was tortured and essayed by her handyman. But with Marcia, she should have known better. Like, she had the telltale signs already. She woke up in the middle of the night and Jeffrey, I think is his name, was standing over her bed in the middle of the night. I think that was a dry run. He was trying to see if he could do it. And she woke up, so he left. And then this particular night, he was over there to have dinner with her. And after dinner, I guess he just killed her. I mean, I don't know what he did to her, but it didn't seem, I don't know. Where is this one? There we go. I need to get this down just a little. There we go. Sorry, I have a problem with this centering my thumbnail. Sorry. So, all right. So there you go. There's your statistics on that. Let's go ahead and get this read into the record here. This is an article, Lynette's, the forensic diver reveals water search challenges. I thought this was an interesting perspective of what we're learning out there. So do you investigate, how do you investigate a disappearance when it happens in open water? Lynette Hooker has now been missing for more than 2 weeks after reportedly going overboard from a dinghy. She was sailing with her husband, Brian Hooker, near Elbow Cay in the Bahamas. Despite media attention and investigation efforts, there are still no answers. With no body recovery and few clues, law enforcement is facing one of the toughest challenges in the case, searching the open waters. So this episode of Criminally Obsessed, they break down what it really means from shifting currents to the harsh reality of what happened to the human body in warm ocean conditions. Investigator reporter Ann Emerson is joining forensic diver Alex Beer, a veteran police officer and dive rescue expert, who explains why investigations in the ocean can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack, or rather, he says, a needle in water. And I also want to remind everybody we're concerned about the Apple Watch Lynette had. Apparently there was an Apple Watch broke. It sounded like, based upon her daughter, it was in the water and found in the water, but it sounds like it wasn't. It sounds like it was found on the boat, which I think would even confirm more so that they made it back to the boat and the fight happened inside the boat, their big boat, the Soulmate. Before he ultimately started concealing his crime. Alex shares the key red flags he sees in Lynette Hooker's disappearance based on his experience, his insight into search efforts, ocean behavior, and the investigative process adds a critical layer of expertise to the ongoing mystery. So there you go. There are some critical issues going on with the search efforts. The daughter of an American woman missing in the Bahamas speaks with ABC. Let's listen to that.
Joining the efforts in the Bahamas.
We seem frustrated because of the fact that we haven't found her yet, and we would hope by now we would have.
The missing 55-year-old's husband, Brian Hooker, reported she fell overboard a small dinghy during bad weather 2 weeks ago, but Royal Bahamian police tell ABC they're still investigating. New video showing the frantic search, the Coast Guard out with a canine, including on Brian's boat, the Soulmate. Carly Aylesworth, Lynette's daughter and Brian's stepdaughter, seen arriving on the island to help. But Brian, who was arrested by police and released without charges, already gone.
We were also wondering and asking...
Already gone. So if you guys are new to this case, let's go over some timelines. Whose this is? This is Lynette's, I want to say, not son-in-law, but her daughter's boyfriend. He seems like a really nice guy, very caring guy. And he's out there helping his girlfriend try to find answers about her missing mother. But when her daughter came into the Bahamas, her husband, now mind you, Lynette and Brian were married for 25 years. His stepdaughter has been in that family with them since she was a little girl. This is kind of her stepdad. This is somebody that she looks up to as a father figure. You do not have a person in your life for 25 years as a parental figure and not look at them as a parental figure. It looks like she cares about the guy. Even when she was talking about him, she wasn't condemning him. You know, what she said is, I believe his anger got at the best of him and he did something he can't undo. You know, she was very, very kind and gracious to her stepfather when she could have just been nasty, right? She could have called him a lot of different names. She could have done a lot of different things. But you could tell that, you know, she was raised by her mom and him. And she treated him like he was a father figure in her life. And therefore, she showed him grace. We could clearly see that. You know, if you thought somebody murdered your mother and you did not have a decent relationship with that person, I'm sure there's a lot of things that you would say, more so than trying to be. She was very calm, cool, and collected, and she didn't want to believe it at first. She really didn't. But now, as the days are going on, I truly believe that she does believe her mom's dead, and I do believe she believes Brian killed her, much like many of us do, because that's the only thing that fits. If she drowned out there in the water, she would have already been found. They would have found her floating body. It would have been horrible, you know, but we would have closure. We would know that she truly went over in that dinghy. Something happened, whatever it was, some freak accident, whether it's her hitting her head or whatever the case may be. It is, you know, so we would have known it was a freak accident. Sorry, let me get this. I don't mean to make my head big, but I hate the shadows, those shadows behind my, I gotta work with the lighting. I can't stand the shadows on my green screen. So I gotta redo the lighting in here. Until I do, my head's gonna be big. I'm gonna have a big head. Oh, good gracious. So more than 2 weeks, Lynette Hooker went overboard. The disappearance of her daughter is speaking out. This feels like something you just watch in a movie, but it's my life. That's got to be awful. And I hear so many people say that. And there are the U.S. Coast Guards with their cadaver dog. We've already seen that. There is them. They look like a happy couple when they were happy, you know. And I think a lot of people that are in abusive relationships or experienced an abusive relationship with your parents, I think you guys understand that when things are good, they're really good. They're happy. You have a lot of happy times. But when things are bad, they're really bad. And you have, you know, it's really bad. And that's hard to explain, is that when things are really, 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 really good, they're happy, they're wonderful, you feel great, you're on top of the world, but then comes, then it comes. So anywho, let's read this. We've got, what else do we have? I think I'm going to get that. We'll just go here. You guys get that.
Land. On April 7th, we spoke to Carly Aylesworth, Lynette's daughter, who said she had questions about the incident. She shared a voicemail with us from her stepfather, Brian Hooker.
They do have life jackets on there. They just don't wear it when they're on it.
Speaking to CBS News, Carly Aylesworth, Lynette's daughter, says the two had a rocky relationship.
From what I've heard from my grandma, their relationship has been a lot of fighting and drinking lately. So I'm just kind of questioning what actually went on in the dinghy.
According to Aylesworth, her mother and Brian, her stepfather, had split up in recent years and then got back together. Royal Bahamian Police.
I will tell you that I don't believe anything happened on the dinghy. I think they got on the dinghy around 6:40. I think they made it back to the boat around 7 at the latest. And I think that they got in a fight after they arrived back on the Soulmate. And much like Brian does, when he has too much to drink, he becomes volatile and then he wants to hurt somebody. And I think that they got into a big fight over his drinking and he attacked her. And I think things went too far this time. I think he had a bad day and he had a lot of pent up anger in him from some things probably not going right during that day, and her being upset that he's falling over drunk again, You don't understand how frustrating and annoying that is until you have a falling down drunk, significant other or husband. And it just gets annoying. It's dumb, and sometimes those things are vocalized. So now we're going to move over to Ashley Banfield. We're not going to watch too much of this. Our show's kind of coming to an end. We're just trying to find some additional information that might help hone in on what may have happened. I think the only way we're going to be able to help as a public is to know the coordinations, to know where the boat moved and start looking and searching around where the boat moved to. Because if the Soulmate moved when he was supposed to be trekking across the channel, or when he said he was trekking across the channel, well, he had to dispose of somebody. Was it disposed of on ground, or was this person disposed of out at sea? We got to understand that. If it's out at sea, it could be a long time unless a cruise ship finds it, But it's going to be important to find out where that ship was, because I have a funny feeling he wanted to make sure she wasn't found. So she's going to be in a shallow grave, or she's going to be sunk and weighted down. And so if we can find out where the boat is, that's where I'd be dropping anchor and start scuba diving down to the bottom floor to see what's down there, to see if there's something, maybe weighted down or something of that effect. This is, it's troublesome, but the good thing is with technology this day and age, most of these boats have tracking devices, multiple tracking devices. If one system isn't working, another system is working. And people don't think, because you don't think of it tracking you. And so you're not thinking to disconnecting. And I don't know if you can. I don't know if you truly can disconnect the things. And if you've never disconnected it before, that's going to be a telltale sign as well. But why are you disconnecting your equipment at this very specific area? I mean, that goes into circumstantial evidence. This equipment has never been offline for 3 years. And then we find out that this thing was disconnected, physically disconnected during this. So it'd be very, very obvious that but still, I think they've got enough where they can identify where he put her. His movements were being tracked, whether he knew it or not. I think they should be able to find her by the movements of the boat, but I don't know. So let's go ahead and get on this. She's meeting with somebody new. I don't know who this is. We'll listen to what they have to say and move from there.
Pretty damn critical and make a huge difference in this whole story that Brian Hooker has told. I want you to see now my conversation with Jim Todd. He's, again, with the Hopetown Volunteer Fire and Rescue Service. Take me from that first call you got Easter morning, Sunday, April 5th.
So just after 5 o'clock, I got a call at home on our Hopetown Fire and Rescue network that there was an emergency, a missing woman. So I went down to our boat. I joined 3 other guys, and we, in communication with the police through telephone, voice message, we had an idea of where to start searching. So we left Hopetown Harbor and went down to the area between Elbow Key and Lover's Quarters. We searched the northeastern shore of Lover's Quarters, and then based on the direction of wind, we moved north just a little bit and followed the wind direction toward the island of Great Abaco in the area of Marsh Harbor. And we understood that the police were at the boatyard at Marsh.
Look at the water. That is the bay side. Okay? That is not the Atlantic side. That is the bay side. You see the water. No chop. You got water moving, but no chop. No real chop. That is what they were most likely driving in. That's why a lot of the story doesn't make sense at the beginning. And I just wanted to point that out because that's a great image right here.
Marsh Harbor in Calcutta, and we hit the mainland in our search boat and turned south, went past Calcutta and where the police were searching the shore.
Where that dinghy was.
We did not see the dinghy on that trip because it was too dark. Mm-hmm. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. We did see the dinghy on that trip. We saw Mr. Hooker and another person who turned out to be a police officer. And then
at the dinghy.
At the dinghy. Mm-hmm. And then we returned to Calcutta, and they were joined by more police and Brian Hooker.
So this is around 5:30 in the morning?
As I recall, we were out, and I can definitely say we were out and searching before 5:45, and so we were probably still prior to 6 o'clock when we were going into Calcutta for the first time.
And so once you've done this initial search, you end up with Brian Hooker on your vessel.
Yeah, we did that initial search. We pulled into the boatyard. The police and Brian Hooker and several police officers and Brian Hooker then went from the boatyard to his boat anchored off of Elbow Key.
So you're going across the Sea of Abaco with him on board. What was your first initial impression when he was boarding your...
So we know that he was over at Marsh Harbor. He boarded their boat. The soulmate was still over in Elbow Cay. Now we hear that he parked closer to Aunt Pat's Bay. And again, the daughter is saying the boat moved. Okay, I don't know what that means. I don't know how far, but she said the boat moved. They got in the boat, and the boat was not in the same position as it was.
Fire and rescue boat.
I happened to be the person who assisted him getting from the dock onto the boat and had very brief interaction. And he struck me as, I would describe it as like he had been hit by a truck or was in shock. And I thought to myself, well, he's been up going on 24 hours plus. So that's made sense to me.
And it's been a terrible night.
Mm-hmm.
This is the facts that you have at this early point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hit by a truck is what came to mind.
Were you able to talk to him at all when you were crossing from Marsh Harbor back over to Elbow Key with him?
The police were with us, and so I wanted, well, all of us on fire and rescue wanted to keep our distance and let the police do what they were going to do.
So you now cross the Sea of Abaco, you're back over at Elbow Key, and do you go to the yacht that is moored there? I mean, or it's anchored, actually. They've thrown anchor. Soulmate is just off of Aunt Pat's. Is that where you end up with him?
Yep, it was in the approximate area of Aunt Pat's. And we tied up the fire and rescue boat next to the vessel and the sailboat. And Brian, a police officer, went onto the boat for about an hour.
So you all stay, the fire and rescue and a couple of officers stay on the fire and rescue boat, which is now literally flush with Soulmate, tied up beside Soulmate, and one investigating officer and Brian get up on board Soulmate.
Yes.
Do they stay in the cockpit area outside, or do they go down below in the cabin?
They went below.
How long did they spend?
It's hard for me to estimate, but I would say about an hour.
About an hour down below.
Mm-hmm.
And when they emerge, what's the next thing that happens?
There was some conversation that I couldn't hear. They both individuals came back on the fire and rescue boat, and then as we untie and separate from the boat, one of the police officers took pictures of the sailboat from 360 degrees.
That's at the direction of the investigating officer to do so?
Yeah, I don't recall what he said, but he had an interaction with them, take pictures all around the boat, what appeared to be the senior person or a senior person.
And so your search and rescue vessel now does a 360 trip around Soulmate, photographing every aspect of Brian Hooker's yacht.
Yes.
And Brian.
I wonder if they did that on the inside as well, because that's going to be important too, more so than the outside.
And Lynette's yacht. And then where do you go next?
I'm not sure why I was not privy to.
Has anybody went to her? Let me just ask this. I know I haven't, but it might be an angle. I might actually do this. Has anybody went to their channel, the Sailing Hookers, and started looking at their ship, their vessel, and comparing it to the new images of the vessel that we have? We are capturing here. Is anything like on the outside missing of the boat? We're not going to be able to see on the inside, but is there anything that we're noticing on the outside that's out of place, not there, that was there but not there anymore? Predominantly things that could hold weight, down, rope, something like along those lines. Or did anybody capture them with the dinghy? What were the dinghy keys look like? Did they have a floating thing on them? Do they have a little puffy thing on them to float on the water when they get separated? Because every single boat key I've ever had a styrofoam little thing on it, so if you lost it, it floated on the water so you could find it. It didn't sink to the bottom. I've never heard of somebody having keys that didn't have a floaty on it. Like, that's a super important, and once you put a floaty on it, they never come off. Like, I had the same floaty on mine for 25 years. They don't really destruct that well. And never tore up. I mean, it might have gotten a little worn, but it always stayed there. Miss Robin, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. The anchor, yeah, but do they have multiple anchors? Sometimes these boats have 2, 3, 4 different anchors, depending on if they've got a lot of current and they've got to, hold themselves on one side. It's not, usually you have one in the front and back, but sometimes people have multiple actual anchors that they could use besides just the 2. So it makes you wonder, is there additional anchors? Maybe an old anchor that they didn't throw away. Maybe they've just gotten a new anchor or something to that effect. I don't know.
To the conversation, but we went in the direction of where we understood that the woman fell off of the boat. And so we were in that area. Brian Hooker was on the front of the boat, and I took it upon myself to go out and talk with him about exactly where he understood that to have happened.
How long were you up on the front of the search and rescue vessel with Brian as you all sort of tried to establish where it was that he says she went overboard?
I would say easily in the range of 10 minutes.
Talking to him.
Yeah, to say, okay, she fell off here. How close to land was that? Would she have flown? Would she have swum in that direction, or would she have swum in this direction? It was that kind of conversation.
And effectively, you're trying to establish, where did she go over, how close to land, and how close to the soulmate yacht?
I was more focused on just the simple context of where to look. I can't say that I cared about where the sailboat was. I was just thinking about, where should we look? If she went off here and we were this close to land, what part of land might it be? And so where should we be looking?
Were you able to establish?
Do you hear what he said? Which again puts in more perspective of how the story Brian threw together did not make sense. Let's go back 20 seconds.
Of where to look. I can't say that I cared about where the sailboat was. I was just thinking about, where should we look? If she went off here and we were this close to land, what part of land might it be?
If we are this close to land. So if they were so close to land, 1,000 feet, maybe, right? 1,000 feet, 10 football fields. Seems like a lot, but compared to 4 miles, very close, very close. So if they were that close to land, if they might even been closer to land, closer than we think they were, because he's talking about how close to land they are. So why would Brian truck across the channel if clearly there was land right there?
And so where should we be looking?
Were you able to establish that?
No, as I tried to become more specific, pointing at a particular piece of land. Could it be there, or could it be a little bit further? Could it conceivably be behind? Brian said something along the effects of, I'm not sure, it's just so confusing.
What?
May not have been precisely those words, but the demeanor.
Okay, so he was he was for sure. This is where she went off. Now that they're asking very direct, pointed questions, all of a sudden everything's really confusing for him. I don't remember. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't know. I'm so confused. I'm a Marine that's so confused. I'm an avid boater, but I'm so confused. I know how to read maritime maps, but I'm so confused. Interesting. Interesting choice of words.
Something along the effects of, I'm not sure, it's just so confusing. May not have been precisely those words, but the demeanor and the effect of his comments were, I can't be sure, it's just very confusing.
The way Brian has told friends and accounts, it seems, to authorities, he and Lynette came out.
Like, is there stuff over here that's missing? Was this 4 instead of 3? You know, what's on the end of this boat? What about these? Were these little? You know, these aren't weights. They're kind of like little buffers. You know, so you don't smash the side of your boat when you're going up to the docks or backing in. But, you know, just, is there anything missing? Is there something back here that's not back here? Is there something up here that's not there?
From the Abaco Inn through the channel, took a left and started going south towards where Soulmate was anchored. Did he say how close he was to the channel when this incident allegedly happened?
Yes, he told me that when they got to the end of the channel, they turned left at the last piling in the channel. They did not go further out to where there is a channel buoy.
For deeper seeking boats that have a more draft and need deeper water.
Right. So he said that he turned southward in the area of the last piling, and I assumed that it was west of that last piling.
How far out of the Abaco Channel did he say he was when he had turned left? How far out had he made it before he says she fell overboard?
He didn't say it in the context of feet or yards, but I was standing on the bow of the search boat, and I pointed to a piece of water and say, "You think it was right there?" And I would say it was in the range of 50 yards south of that last piling in the channel.
Very, very close to the channel.
Yeah, much closer. Yeah, much closer to the channel than to the boat, the sailboat.
At any point, did he think that she may have gone out in the channel?
Nothing was said explicitly about that. At one point, I asked, "Is it possible that it happened far enough east that she could have swum southward on the inside of this little peninsula?" And again, he kind of shook his head more definitely no. But then, as was typical at that moment, he says it's just very confusing. I can't be.
He's very confused. Brian is a very confused man. He's a very, very, very confused man. Folks, that's all we have for today. I want to thank you guys for being here. We have been doing paneling and panel guests for since we started about a week or so ago. We haven't done another panel. I want to keep incorporating panels. We still have a lot to discuss on Nancy Guthrie. So I think we're going to do a panel night tonight around 6 p.m. If you guys would like to participate in it, 6 p.m. tonight, panel about the Nancy Guthrie case. If you guys want to talk about the Lynette Hooker case, we can definitely talk about that as well. It's going to be kind of your show, so you guys can make what you want. Wasn't Lynette put in jail once before for domestic herself? Mike, the answer is yes, but the charges were dropped because he had a bloody nose, but she had been punched in the face, but she didn't have a black eye. When she left the jail the next day, her eye started blackening. So when the law enforcement, when the courts were supposed to file charges, they couldn't determine who the instigator of it was. They ended up dropping the charges. So yes, she was arrested, but never once charged. So she has no convictions on her record for domestic violence. And we all know, especially now in light that she's missing, that I doubt very highly she was the instigator. I guarantee the manipulative piece of shit that Brian Hooker is the reason why she went to jail. I know this all too well. So I know Brian Hooker all too well. Okay? I know the kind. We're actually looking at possibly going to California. As many of you know, my dog is going into surgery on Friday. It took me a month to get her in. I can't reschedule it. And it's going to be sad because Tony's funeral is on Thursday, the day before her surgery. So I will not be able to be at his celebration of life, which is absolutely heartbreaking for me. And so we are going to do a nice plant or flower for his service for the church. So if you guys would like, once I get, we'll probably talk about that tomorrow. Tomorrow will be, that's Wednesday. We probably need to talk about it today. As a matter of fact, we need to go ahead and figure out what we're going to order here. So if you guys would like to stay tuned, I'm going to start doing some searches here on some funeral stuff because we need to have something out there for him. We will be doing something, once Dana gets better and she starts feeling a little more lively, we'll probably go out there and do something with her to help her, anyways. Do you have a website? All right, let's pull this up. So we'll have to decide what we're going to do for Mr. Tony. I don't want something small. I want something like this. Let's see what other stuff they have. I want something beautiful. Oh, I like that. I like that. I like that. I really do. I like this one right here. I like that. That's pretty. That's pretty. Let's just keep going. Let's see what else we have. So we just did the white. Let's go to the pink and see what we got here. Ooh, I love that. That is beautiful. I want something big. I don't want something small. I'm sorry, guys. Tony was very important to a lot of us, and we're not going to do something small. Okay, so that was the pink. Let's look at the blues. Oh, there's nothing really there for that one. Yeah, not really interested in that one either. Yeah, no, it's too bright. No, we're not doing that. That's just too much. All right, so I think we're in the top. I think for me, for my palette, we're going to be in one of these three categories here. Tony was genuinely a wonderful person. He was. So the question is, do we want to go with, we're going to have 1, 2, and 3. So it's going to be these in all of them. So this here, and we're going to do the deluxe, or the premium, excuse me. So we're going to do the premium one for each of these. So I don't know which ones we want. So here's the white. Here's the white. Here's the white. Here's the yellow. This is the yellow. There's the yellow. And then we've got the pink. So we got the white, the yellow, and here's the pink. So let me go ahead and poll us. Let's go ahead and poll. So we're going to call it white, yellow, or pink. Which should we do? Question. White, yellow, hold on, pink. All right, so you guys, the poll is in. We're polling this because I want to make sure I capture our folks here. So here's the yellow. Here's the white. Right here. And here is the pink. So pink. Oh, you already saw the pink. So there's the pink. Here's the yellow. Yellow is a circle. Right here. Here's the yellow. So where are we on the people? We got 30. All right, guys, come on. Let's try to get this. We've got enough people in the chat to get that up to 100. So if you guys could please get in there and do. They are asking everyone to wear blue for Dallas Cowboys. Okay, do we have anything that has blue in it? Yeah, we don't have any blue, so it's still pink. That doesn't really matter with our flowers, I don't think, because the only blue flowers we have are this And I don't want, like, I think this is too small. I don't think this is big enough. It's just not a big enough. So blue and silver are cowboy colors. Yeah, I get it, but we're not going to be able to do blue and silver. We're not going to be doing a themed funeral. I mean, people want to wear their stuff, but I don't have it. So maybe I think the white would probably be appropriate. Looks like you guys are veering toward the white anyways. Now I want to do something just traditional, so it's going to be the white, yellow, or pink. We went through all the sympathy ones, so those are the ones that I like the best. Hold on, let me just see one other thing. Let me just, let me pull this back and see if what maybe another florist might have. Let's see what other ones. That's Rusty. Honeybee. Let's see what Honeybee has here. Oops. Let's see what we have on this one. Hold on a second. I'm looking up another florist just to see. They don't really have specific. They don't have it like this one doesn't have it like the other one. I don't like the way this website is because I can't see it. So I think that's going to be it. Okay, so we're up to 53. It looks like the predominating one is white. We've only got what they've got on here, you know. I'm not going to go ask for special. It looks like the white's going to be the dominating one that we're going to get for Tony. I think that's the one we're going to get. Does everybody like that? Oh, you guys can't see it. Does everybody like that? I think this is the one we're going to get right here. Looks like hydrangeas. They can dye the flowers. I'm not gonna be asking. I just want to order something. I don't want to make this too complicated. I think if we're worried about being with the hey Seth, if we're going to be worrying about that, I think that the white's going to probably be the most appropriate. I think because we got 52% white, everybody else. So I think we've made our decision. All right, so I think the white will be good for Tony's service. We're going to go ahead and get this. If you guys, this is going to come from the coffee club. There's no need to participate or help out with this if you don't want to. If you want to, by all means, I will never turn down help. But we are going to go ahead and get the premium tribute. Again, if you want to, you can. If you don't. You know, I don't want to put anybody out. We've got this, but it is coming from the coffee club. It is coming from the Bullhorn Betty channel. This is coming from all of us for Tony. We appreciate all of Tony's work, all of Tony's sacrifice, and more importantly, his unwavering friendship. And he's going to truly be missed by a lot of us. He's going to truly be missed by a lot of us. So we're going to go ahead and get this ordered. I've got to reach out to this and make sure that they have time to make this. If we have any problems, we will deal with it tonight on tonight's show. Okay, we'll make our final decision if there's any problems. Otherwise, I'm moving forward with this right here. Okay, this is what we're going to send to Mr. to the funeral. We can't go. Okay, I wish we could. I got too much. This just couldn't have happened at a worse time. But when is a good time, right? But Delilah's got to get in for her surgery. I've been waiting a month to get her in for her surgery, and to think that I've got to wait another month to get her in for another surgery. I can't do that. I know that Dana's going to need help, you know, from us long after everybody starts leaving. So I think we're just going to let everything kind of, you know, calm down a little bit, and then we'll go in and help as much as we can. when she needs it. Right now, she probably is getting a lot of help, and that lot of help is going to die down, and that's where we'll step up to the plate. Thank you so much, Texas Woman. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you guys. Again, not necessary if you want to. We appreciate it, but we're going to go ahead and get this. So let me go ahead and order this now. If for any reason, like I said, we have problems or they can't get it in time, which I think they can, we'll discuss that tonight on tonight's show. Otherwise, tonight I'll let you know that it's already been ordered and we're good to go. So, Sonia, the real me too, please be, it's Mr. and Mrs. E here. Oh, thank you. He was. We absolutely miss him. I can't believe this is happening. I really can't. I can't believe we're here. That's what's so... It's just hard. Oh, anyways. We'll go ahead and get this ordered. This will be coming from the coffee club. And we'll get this. If there's any problems, we'll discuss it later tonight when we go live. Tonight's live is going to be a call-in. If you guys would like to call in, please call in. I'm not gonna tell you guys which case to call in. We've been kind of running both cases together. So if you guys have something about Lynette, we'll talk about Lynette. If you guys got something about Nancy, we'll talk about Nancy. If you want to say something beautiful and kind about Tony, the floor will be ours. So thank you guys for all the love and support. We are going to make this as beautiful as we can. So let me get working on this. Thank you guys. I appreciate it. I'm going to get working on this, and we'll see. Good friends. I can't tag as I'm... Aw, well, you guys have a great day. We love you. We're thinking of you guys, too. You guys are in our thoughts and prayers. Oh. All right, guys. I love you. We'll see you back. I think, we're going to go live. I might do a live at 4 instead of 6 and be wrapped up at 6. It just really depends on, like I said, this is pretty raw. We're all kind of dealing with a raw moment. So it's like when I get some clarity, this morning was a little bit of a struggle, but when I get some clarity, I want to go live. When things are a little rougher, I want to just kind of be with myself and in my feelings. So I know everybody's kind of feeling the same way. But again, we'll get this off. So it's been a hard few weeks. Amen. And you guys can still use all the prayers. Remember, guys, we still have a lot of prayers to give for the E family. So God bless you guys. All right, guys, rock it out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. God bless.